What is up, everyone? I'm back. Just trying to get this one done under 5 minutes because there's a whole lot more I could talk about, but I'm going to condense it for the good stuff. So, this one's going to be based on a review for another local haunt called the Wicked Forest of Terror. They've been out there a long time and they're always getting better. So, last night, went out there finally. Been really trying to get out there. Finally made it. Took my daughter with me. And last time we talked about them, we just kind of had I walked the trail a little bit and talked to some of the owners about it and some of the actors. And last time we talked about how they altered the path a little bit. They kind of changed the directions you go, added some corners, things like that. We also talked about adding new crews, new staff like makeup artists and new actors, some veteran actors and some awesome makeup artists and photographers and everything else. And then special effects. They made a lot of additions with that. And we also talked about them adding some new scenes, some more intense scenes to the haunt, and changing a few things. And let me just say, bravo! It worked. It all came together very well. I mean, everything they've done, the changes they all made. I mean, the haunt was good last year, but this year was exceptional. All the changes, like I said, were they all just they meshed really well together. They made it just the experience all that much better. We'll start with the trail. Last time, like I said, they made some changes. There are some new scenes in there, but the transitions between the scenes, they mastered it this time. I mean, the transitions between the scenes were just very smooth, very fluid, but when they added the corners, things changed. When I say they changed, I mean, you didn't flow from one room or one area to another and it still looked kind of the same. No, they distinctly changed. They're different. Almost like if you've ever been shopping for cologne or perfume and between smelling them, you've got to smell some coffee beans in between to refresh your palate. That's kind of what it felt like between every transition. Is like they flowed really well, but you were without a doubt definitively in a whole nother scene or an element every time you turned a corner. They just did an amazing job with that. It was perfect. I got no other word for it. It was perfect. And some of the scenes they added were pretty intense. I mean, as far as the intensity from the actors, the overall feel, some of the makeup and lighting, it was all just very very intense, and I appreciate that the most. It was a lot of fun. So speaking of makeup, like I said, they added some artists and the makeup was on point. I mean, their makeup's always been good. Their artists they've had have always been phenomenal, but the addition of some of the new artists with some different techniques and ideas, their faces, the actors, their faces just pop out at you. When I say that, I mean before you could see there was an actor and you could see the makeup was gory, gruesome, really elaborate, but now it's just very poof, in your face in detail. So when they finally get up, not even close to you, within 5 feet of you, the makeup is just amazing. It's just I gotta get tied up looking at how good some of that stuff is. It was a lot, and didn't take away from anything else because you get zoned in on that because it's just the way it's done this year. Before the makeup was good, and then you could see with their eyes, you could see the actors' eyes in different contacts and everything they'd have for different designs or colors. But with the way it's done this year, those things just pop out at you. It's almost like you could see their eyes glowing in the dark at you in a way because it was just that well defined. It was it was pretty awesome. It was nothing short of amazing, I promise you. And another thing we'll talk about too is some of the actors they added, along with their previous crew, all that energy they had. The actor interaction was extraordinary. It was on point. I mean, they kind of stalk you a little bit, but the way they approach you, the way they just how they kind of own their little area, they own their space, and then it's like now you're a guest in their little area, and it was a lot of fun. And then some of the other stuff too is we talk about actor interaction, but there were some areas that was what made it even better, and I didn't really think it would work this way, but it was really cool. It was the lack of interaction with some actors. They're in their scene, they're in their element, and they're all interacting with each other, and you're there. They acknowledge your presence. They're there. And they make sure they know that they know you're there, but they kind of do their own thing. But that's the beauty of that. Those actors they placed together, I think they found their spots. They found their groove. They found who works together well. Because there's some scenes in there where you just walking through and you're just a guest, and these actors, they just kind of they feed on each other, and then they work so well together to create that scene and that atmosphere, and then they bring you in a little bit, and that part alone, you get to observe some of that. It's just kind of, some of those scenes can be maybe a little disturbing, a little intense, and they're not bringing you all the way in, you're just there, and you get to be a part of it from the outside. And honestly, some of those you don't want any part of. You're just happy, content being there watching, maybe. Yeah, sometimes you don't want a part of that at all. So, completely awesome. The way they approach that one with some of these new actors, and some of these people are brand new. They're just naturals. They just the way the persona they put off and how they just personify the characters in that scene. I'm just speechless. It was awesome. It was a really great experience. I actually timed the haunt this time myself. So the haunt itself, if you walk through it to normal pace and you're not running, remember we talked about that, no running. Took me about 23 minutes to get through this haunt. That's just the haunt itself. And then to get to the end, the end part, you can add on X amount of time. That just all depends on you and the choices you make, if you kind of get what I'm saying. So I would say, man, 100% go out there. Like last year, this year especially, go out there early, because lines are going to start getting longer and you'll want to go back. I'm going back. We're going to Mexico soon. But as soon as I get back, I'm going back to see him again, because I want to see how these actors have all progressed, because they're still kind of new into the season. They're still figuring out what works, but what they've got right now is phenomenal. So all I'm going to say is keep going. I brought my daughter with me, and she's not really nervous, but a couple of the scenes and the way they're set up, man, she was like, no, you go first. I'm not going. And that's not characteristic of her at all. So it was amazing. I had a lot of fun, had a really great time. The owners are always amazing, always very accommodating. And they, I don't know, they just put on an awesome haunt, and they're getting better every year. And this just proves it. They've really elevated the intensity of their haunt, the overall feel. Some of the new ideas and new scenes are just they're killer. I don't know. So definitely make time to get out there, because you won't regret it. And they still got that casket experience, just laying in a casket. Can you last in there? I mean, we'll find out. But overall, had a blast. Will go back. So I suggest you guys do the same. I'm going to visit another haunt tonight, I believe, and then we'll get another review on them. But for now, you've kind of heard my spiel on how the Wicked Forest of Terror has panned out so far, and it is nothing short of amazing. So I praise the owners. I praise the actors. We had a great time, and we're definitely going to go back. So we'll talk again for a mid-season or in-season review, but as of right now, I have extremely high hopes, and they have set a bar. That's all I can say. They've set a bar for any other haunts I'm going to be visiting, because they knocked it out of the park. So we'll talk again, but you guys stay safe. Enjoy spooky season. We'll talk again.